Welcome everyone to this tutorial series on Pandas, which is an open source library that is built on top of Numpy, and it is heavily used for data analysis. So it can work with a wide variety of data from a wide variety of sources, and it also has some great data visualization features. So if you want to go ahead and start learning Pandas, I would suggest you to go to your command line or your terminal and type out pip install pandas, or if you have the anaconda distribution of Python, type out conda install pandas. So that would hopefully set up your system to work with pandas. Now let's start off by importing numpy as np and pandas as pd, as the general convention goes. So the first data type I'm going to be discussing about is the series data type in pandas. So series are basically built on top of numpy array objects, and the main difference between a numpy array and a series is that series are indexed by labels. So I'll give you some examples to further illustrate what I mean. So let me start off by making some labels. So for my labels, I'm going to be making a list of values, so ABC, and then let me make the data that I want to convert into a series. So I'm going to be making a list for that. Then let me also make a numpy array just to illustrate how flexible series is. So numpy array and np.array and feed in my list. So if you are unfamiliar with this, so it basically is taking the list as an argument and converting it into a numpy and array. You can check my numpy crash course if you want to be more familiar with using numpy. So go ahead with that. Now let me also make a dictionary over here. So with a key value pair of a, let me give this as 1, then b as 2, and c as 3. So you can just call pd.series in order to use the series function, and then you can send in different kinds of parameters to the series function. So you can send in the data that you want to convert into a series, then you can send the index that you want to have for labeling the series data, then you can choose the d type, which is the data type, and so on. So at first I'm just going to be sending my data, which is my list. So running that, you can see that my list is actually converted into a series, which kind of looks like the numpy array, but indexing has been done over here from 0, 1, 2. So those index are automatically kept over there by pandas. So if I want to change the indexing to my own labels, which I've declared above, I can just pass in labels as the index. So if I run that, you're gonna see that the indexing has changed to ABC. I can also pass in the numpy and the array. So let me pass nump r. So that again has been converted into a series. That shows how flexible that Panda series is actually with converting data into series. I'm also going to be showing you that dictionaries too can be converted into series, and unlike the list or the numpy array, you don't have to provide the labels over here, because the key is actually going to be serving as indexing purposes, so serving for indexing purposes. So if I run that, you can see that ABC 1 2 3. So another thing that you can notice is that I didn't actually write data equals to, and you can just leave that out and just write D also, which is my dictionary over here. So there's that. Now let me show you some functions that you can do with series. So let me first make two series. So series 1 equals to pd dot series, and let me provide my data as 1 2 3 and my labels as car, then bus, then maybe a taxi. So that's my series 1. Now if I make another series, yes, series 2 pd dot series, and provide in, for example, 2 3 4 as the data, and then put labels as car. I'm going to be changing only the bus for the label, so I'm going to put this as cycle, and then I'm going to put this as taxi. So you can see the series 2 looks like this. So that's series 2. Now if I want to make a third series using series 1 and series 2 by concatenating them, so if I write series 1 plus series 2, so that's going to be giving me a series 3, which is a new series. And if I call that, you can see that the values which are the same key, which are the same index or labels, are added. So from series 1, car had an index of 1, and from series 2, car had an index of 2. So adding them, we got 3.0. You can also see that series automatically changes the integer numbers into floating numbers when you are operating on them, just in order to save the floating point decimal values. So then you can see that the bus value for this series is actually null. So over here, bus and cycle both do not have anything common in between the two series. So these two index will have the value null. So keep that in mind. And similarly, taxi has the value of 7 for taxi 4 and taxi 3. And I think that much will be enough for today about series. I'll be covering more data types in pandas, so make sure that you follow and you subscribe. And if you have any problem, just write it down in the comment sections, no matter how simple it may be, and I'll reply to it. So yeah, that's it for now. Ta-da!